What is up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health and fitness and social well-being. Today, guys, we're talking about intermediate fasting and meal prep time.
I am the greatest.
Someone with power! Someone with power! Someone with cash! Someone with power!
Alright, so if you guys have noticed, lately there's sort of been a trend with my video topics lately, pretty much in some way or another sort of relating to cutting in some sense, or something to do with, your abs, your diet, things like that. And just because of the time of year, guys, these are the questions that I'm getting. Even though I have lots of topics I'd like to go over, this channel is for you guys, so therefore I like to address the topics that you guys seem to be most concerned with. So one that I've been getting lately is pretty much just, does intermediate fasting work? And for those of you who aren't really sure of what that is, intermediate fasting is pretty much where you eat all of your meals in a condensed time frame, like an 8-hour window, for example. So like maybe you'll wake up in the morning and you won't eat breakfast immediately. You'll go on about your day and you'll wait till like you're in a certain 8-hour window, eat all your meals at that time. And pretty much people are asking me like, does it work? As well as just the general premise of like, does, what time I eat certain meals, does it matter? Is breakfast really the most important meal of the day to get my metabolism started, everything like that? And the answer, guys, is yes and no. And what I mean by that, guys, it is completely dependent upon you. Meal timing, intermediate fasting, all that is completely subjective. And what I mean by that, guys, is pretty much physiologically speaking, there is absolutely no real benefit to intermediate fasting. There's no benefit to meal timing, or it doesn't matter when you get your meals in. What matters is that you're getting all of your proper nutrition, that you're hitting all of your calories, and that you're hitting your macros correctly. That's really all it comes down to. It doesn't matter if you get it all in an 8-hour window. It doesn't matter if you get it all at the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, the end of the day. If you spread it out, that is completely dependent upon you. Now, with that being said, can intermediate fasting or planning out your meals work? Yes, but it's solely based off of you. There's no physiological benefit to it so much as there is more of a psychological benefit to it. Some people do well with intermediate fasting simply because they feel like they're full. Like if they hold off on eating, yeah, they're a little bit hungry, but then they eat all their meals within that condensed time frame, and it just makes it easier for them to fit in all their calories in that time frame, and then go on about the rest of their day, go to bed, wake up, start over. Same thing with breakfast, guys. That's one of the biggest nutrition myths in the world, is that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and that you have to have it to get your metabolism going. Guys, that's not true. That is, it's just not true. It's not a fact. It's been scientifically disproven. It has almost nothing to do with your metabolism. And I understand, you guys may have found sources that say otherwise, but that's why it's important, guys, to understand that just because, and that's why I'm really careful even with being like, oh, here, guys, I'll link this down below with you guys. I want to get you guys in the habit of reading and researching things for yourself so that you can learn to distinguish between information that is valid and information that is not. With that being said, I will leave a link in the description down below with an article that goes over studies that show why breakfast isn't the most important meal of the day. The fact is, there is no such thing as the most important meal of the day. Not breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks, nothing like that. It just is dependent upon you and what works best for you. There are some people who don't eat breakfast. There are some people who get all their calories and hit all their macros just in their lunch and dinner. It just depends on what's best and most convenient for you. So I'm not saying this to bash intermediate fasting or to bash planning your meals. If that works for you, do it. The problem is when people get in this habit of saying, oh, this is how you have to do it exactly. You're supposed to do it this way. You're not going to get all the benefits of your nutrition. That's not true, guys. It's not true at all. It's all about what works best for you. Some people, for example, some people, in order to hit all their calories, they like to spread their meals out throughout the day, so that way they don't ever feel hungry. Other people, maybe they have a big appetite, so they like to eat a lot at once, be full for a few hours, and then eat one more big meal. It just is completely subjective, guys. And even though you may even hear or see things about oh, the reason that thinner people have a faster metabolism is because there's a correlation between them eating breakfast. Even if you find that's what I mean, guys, by saying some sources out there just aren't scientifically true, and you have to have a sort of a basic understanding of anatomy, physiology, how certain things work in the body to know if it's true or not. Because the fact is, first of all, thinner people do not by default have a faster metabolism. That's not true at all. In fact, more often than not, a lot of times they have a slower metabolism, which is why they don't eat as much, which is why they stay so thin. But not trying to get on to different topics here. So yeah, long story short, trying to keep this video as simplistic as possible. Intermediate fasting is a great tool if it works for you. Planning out your meals there's absolutely nothing wrong with it if it can benefit you, but it's all psychological. It's all about what works for you. Personally, I'm not big on planning out my meals. I like to eat when I'm hungry, and then whenever I decide what I'm going to eat, I make sure it fits into my calories, my macros, and then I go from there. It's as simple as that. Other people, if they have maybe more of a very structured schedule, they like to plan out exactly when and what they're going to eat, and that's okay too. But just understand, guys, that there is nothing special about intermediate fasting. The only reason that it helps a lot of people lose weight is, once again, it allows them to stay in that caloric deficit because they wake up, they don't eat for the first few hours of the day. They make sure that they get their calories that they are supposed to eat within that few hour window, and then they're pretty much full until they go to sleep. So it works because of that reason. It just makes it easier for some people to stay in a deficit. It's not necessarily going to work for you. It doesn't necessarily work for everybody, but it is an excellent tool to utilize if you want to test it out. So that's pretty much that, guys, as far as this video. I'm really trying to work on keeping these videos short, sweet, to the point, and not just, saying the same thing over and over. But it's just really important that I emphasize that, guys. That's the distinction. That's where you learn that balance between being specific and scientific. The scientific part of it is just making sure that if you're trying to lose weight, you're in a caloric deficit, or if you're trying to gain weight, you're in a caloric surplus. That's where the scientific part is. The specific aspect of it is finding the best way for you to hit those calories based off of your personal lifestyle and everything like that. That's all there is to it, guys. If this video helped you out, if you enjoyed it, go ahead and comment down below. If you guys, want me to go more in depth on certain topics, or you just want me to cover certain topics specifically, leave a comment down below. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.
I am the greatest.